sis. So with all that, with that foundation there that you've got rooted in, you know, the connections with nature that were innate, to combine that with entheogens, with psychedelics,
Whoa.
your your
Yeah.
introduction in that realm, could you take us to that bit? Before we start to go in
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Well, um, I've known Kalindi for many, many years. We met actually when we were 19 years old, and that was in a martial arts class. Um, and so I see this beautiful young boy over here in the dojo doing this beautiful art that he's doing. And I just wanted to know what he was doing as opposed to what we were doing. I was in a taekwondo class. I was pretty good, I might say. But I seen this beautiful boy over in the corner doing some amazing stuff. And because I have a strong dance background, it looked like he was dancing. And I wanted to know more about it. So I approached the young man, Kalindi, and I said, show me some of this, what you're doing. I want to be down like this. And he attempted to show me, but he was quite fresh and very mannish in his method in showing me. And so I became offended. And I told him so. And that started the 25-year cat and mouse chase that we had before he finally got me. Okay. So upon me becoming Kalindi's wife and his last name and carrying his last name, Iyi, Iyi means oracle. And we know that when a name is called, the energy of that name is created each and every time it's called. So that's why the Africans name their children the names that they name them, that particular moons and stars and trees and the earth, and because they carry a meaning. My name, Ayana, means beautiful flower. And that's a word that just creates the energy around me every time you say it. So, oracle, that just kind of went right with who I am and what I was doing, but unknowingly. So one day, Baba said, here, take this. And it was 5 dried grams of mushrooms. Without any question or hesitation, I said, okay. So that 5 grams changed the course of my life. And I wanted to know more. I went into that space at 5 grams with him, and being connected to him, I never felt so much love coming and emanating from a human being ever. And I just was connected to what I felt on that side. It actually took me back into my mother's womb, and I came back out into the, obviously it had to be the pyramids because I've seen the glyphs on the walls. And I felt a little agitated in that 5 gram space because it was like, if you take more, you're going to be able to read what this is in these pyramids. I can see the light or the dim light of the place where I was at. Um, it was just amazing. And so that began my journey into the psychedelics, my journey with Kalindi, and my journey into enhancing what was already inside of me through psilocybin. It just brought it to the surface. And the fear that I carried in knowing certain things started to dissipate because I started to understand more, being, you know, as Baba would say, just be more than what you are. And that's what it allowed me to be more than just this person here going to work, punching the clock, um, doing what I have to do, come home, cook the dinner, kiss the husband, go to work. And, you know, just the repetitiveness of what they tell us is the American dream. You know, I stepped outside of that box with Baba Kalindi and have been outside that box ever since. And I encourage so many people to just look around and open up their eyes and get outside of the box, you know. So the word oracle, the name Iyi, has a very, very powerful energy. Actually, the word Iyi, the name Iyi, has its own language as well. I haven't quite gotten to that part. And I suppose Baba will reveal that to me in my next journey, you know, the language of the Iyis. Did I answer that question okay?
She did marvelously, and more plus more. um, so sis, like again, there's a lot from that, man. But I'm curious to know, you know, just as far as, you know, I'm assuming still that period of time was in Detroit when you was 19 and all the way through Cat and Mouse, doing that
Yes.
in the States. Again, this being a taboo subject in our community, psychedelics. So you're delving into one realm of working with nature and nature's bones, so to speak. and then you're also delving into this entheogenic realm. And obviously Kalinde's publicly speaking about this, and you're there, and you're co-signing this. How was that received in the community? In that during those early days, just the subject matter of psychedelics.
Well, you hear the word psychedelic and you think drug, you think hippies, you think people are just gone out of their mind again because of society, and that's what Brava brought to this community, which was to open up that, no, not to open, but to kick open those doors so that people could have the knowledge that psychedelics is the way in, and to get out of some stuff that we're in. It's the way in. So early days, there go Baba Kalindi talking that crazy stuff. He must be a drug addict. All of those drug addicts that are hanging out with them, and the naysayers, and once he was, the word hallucinate. Let's break down the word hallucinate. That simply means to wander through your own mind. They tell us that we use 10% of our brain and the other 90% lies dormant. Well, hell, I want to know what's on the other side of that, inside of that 90%. And most people should be able to do that. But again, there's the word fear that comes up. So Baba was able to kick in those doors through education and information, and constantly telling the people, our people, that there is so much more than what you can do for yourself, than to live by the laws and the rules of the land, which keep you locked in the box. And it was a perilous journey. Baba would travel all over, leaving us for weeks and weeks at a time. And sometimes in the household, it was feast or famine because of his studies and what he was doing. I always embraced his vision. I honored his vision, but I'm going to tell you, the walk was not always easy in terms of what he was doing and what he was trying to do. Because again, you got the naysayers, and you got to be strong, and you got to throw your shoulders back and your head up, and you got to walk in your truth. And because I believed in the truth that he was saying, because I felt it and I understood it, I was on his side, and I was kicking those doors down with him. So anybody that wanted to have a naysay, that gave me the opportunity to educate. If I had an audience and you give me your ear, I'm gonna change your mind, and so we were able to do that. We were able to do that together. And as time went on, we were able to open up our household to those meetings and have people come through and take their journeys. And we talked about it once a month, and it started to spread like wildfire, because I think something in our DNA just connects us to that energy, because we are magical people. And this is a high level of magic. Psilocybin is a high level of magic. It just takes you to a whole nother, well, I know that I'm talking to a group of people now who have already been inside of that place. But for those who have not, lose the fear, come on and jump right on in. And I assure you that the information that has been imparted through Baba Kalindi and all the others, the Terrence McKennas and the Dennis McKennas and the Sabina, and just to do the work, because there is so much more. The community now is just all a buzz, not because of the loss of Baba. Well, yeah, the loss of Baba is huge, but the need to know more, to want to be more, to hear more, to feel more is very, very prevalent in Detroit right now and the surrounding communities. So even with all that's going on, you can sit inside of this energy of being a psychonaut and not have that fear that is prevalent on the planet right now. So giving thanks for having that foundation through Baba Kalindi's hard work, and those who are brave enough to listen and honor it. We're going to stand strong in this struggle and get this work done. That was his message, to continue the work. And through that, that's what we're doing. We're continuing the work on all levels. So many different little communities have sprung up. The Psychonaut Academy of Detroit, Michigan Psychedelics, the Decriminalized Nature group, out of Oakland and in Ann Arbor. It's a movement. It's a huge movement. Johns Hopkins University, they just got awarded so many millions of dollars to do the studying. So the work is there, You know, but it was a road to travel in the early years. It was a road to travel, and he kept going. And that's what attracted me to him in the first place, because he stood by the courage of his convictions. He believed in what he was doing, no matter what anybody said. And that even went down to martial arts. You know, African martial arts back in the day, are you kidding me? Africans didn't know martial arts, only the Koreans and the Chinese and the Japanese. What about Africa? Kalindi stood in that. He stood in it. He could have became commercial and did the regular martial arts or the Korean martial arts, the Taekwondo, but he stood in that power, and he used entheogens to get his message across. And so now the African martial arts world is no longer a sleeping giant. It is awake, and it's ready to continue to put the pulse, but continue the pulse based on the shoulders that they now get to stand on, which is Ahati Kalindi Iyi, shoulders that we're standing on now.
Most definitely, sis. Ashe. And I have to just follow that up, because I bear witness and testimony to the efforts and energies the brother's put in over the years, just rolling with him for the period of time that I did. But to know, sis, you know, as you said, how magical and important this would be for our people. And although there's stuff happening, has been happening in Detroit and a few pockets around the world, I guess, Kalinde was the only brother who stood up, and he traveled the world to spread this information. And he was doing this before the internet, before, you know, any kind of publicity stunts or anything beyond research that's taking place, why people are now jumping on this. You know, his path that he paved out for himself, for us to follow through, because there was nobody else. There was nobody else doing it, and nobody else has done it. And you know, like you said, it would be so easy for him to have copped out with the martial arts and done, you know, gone the easy road, the easy route, and it might have led.
Absolutely, and make tons and tons of money going commercial. You know.
Sure, but
he stood in his belief. Yeah.
That's right, sis. And that there's fruit, man. There's spores. Spores were spread, you know, and they've inoculated and they're colonizing. Just like when they originally arrived, it took many moons before they started to fruit. But his work and his testimony, his legacy, I know for sure, it continues and shall continue infinitely. And so we will feast. We will feast. You know, I know we will feast. You know, that those rough days, so we can feast.